Hey everybody, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil, and it's time to talk House of the Dragon. We're kicking off the second half of the season now with episode 6, and I feel, based on the events at the very end of last episode, that we're finally reaching that tipping point where we go from preamble and setting the chessboard to a little more driven story, if that makes sense. Because up to now, as much as little things have happened, and, Daemon's returned, he's defeated the crab feeder, Rhaenyra has gotten married, obviously Viserys remarried, has a son now, yet Rhaenyra remains his heir. It all feels like setup. And the trigger for the next phase of the story has to be Viserys' death. And we saw him collapse at the very end of last episode. Whether he's actually died or not, yet to be confirmed. But even if he hasn't died in that moment, it feels like his death is imminent now. Even though I'm hesitant to say that because his death has felt imminent since the first episode. He's been ill. He's had these wounds that don't heal. His arm is getting worse and worse. He doesn't go anywhere without wearing gloves because of he's basically rotting away. He's arranged a marriage for Rhaenyra, reuniting the houses of Targaryen and Valerion, and so it would appear that he's got Corlys back on side, but at the same time, by firing Otto, he has driven a wedge between Rhaenyra and Alicent and her son Aegon, who she will believe is the heir. And more than that, she'll be worried that Rhaenyra will put her son to the sword to solidify her own claim. So we're beginning to see the factions develop, even though nothing's happened yet. Everyone's thinking about Viserys dying because everybody knows he's sick, everyone that's close to him. So we know Rhaenyra's the heir. We know Aegon will have a strong claim and many supporters. And you can see Alicent beginning to, even though she's lost her father as Hand of the King, she's forging new allies, perhaps. She certainly has ties with her family back in Old Town. It may appear that Rhaenyra's lover, Sir, I'm blanking on his name. We all know, the knight, Sir Criston. He feels betrayed by Rhaenyra, and he may end up in Alicent's camp. And then Daemon, of course, is the wild card, as always. And what will he do? He still has this idea that he should be wedding Rhaenyra and uniting the Targaryen name and family, making their claim even stronger. How this all shakes out, who knows? But I want to get the ball rolling. I want Viserys to die, basically, is what I'm saying. And I'm hoping that this episode starts with that. But if it doesn't, then I hope we're getting there. I hope it doesn't take all season for that to happen. I feel like we're at about the same stage of season 1 where Robert Baratheon died in Game of Thrones, and his death was really what precipitated the War of the Five Kings. Viserys' death will precipitate the Dance of Dragons. Let's get into it, is kind of where I'm at. As much as I'm enjoying the palace intrigue and the politics of marriage and all of these sorts of things, I want the Civil War to start, is basically where I'm at. So, crossing my fingers, we're going to get it this episode. Only one way to find out, though. This is episode 6 of season 1 of House of the Dragon.
And push!
Is this Emma again, or...
A boy, princess.
Brave mother. Kicking like a goat, princess.
The Queen has requested that the child be brought to her immediately.
Oh dear.
Why? I'll take him myself.
Who is this? Am Must be a different time frame, right? Is that Rhaenyra?
Oh, it's coming. The afterbirth.
A boy. I've just heard.
Yes.
Well done.
It is.
Where are you going?
She wants to see him.
Okay, okay.
Was it terribly painful?
Yes. What's happened? I feel like so much time has passed. Alicent wants to see them.
Walk.
She's not doing well. She's literally just given birth. Can I assume Viserys is dead?
We are turning back, all right?
Unless you wish to carry me down those fucking stairs.
Okay. I like that these two are a team. I'm so used to seeing her hair like perfect. I was so confused. And they've aged her up a little, I think. You know, it's also just the lack of glamour of childbirth. How much time has passed? Yeah.
What happy news this morning.
He still
Indeed, Your
lives.
Grace.
Wow.
Where is he? Where is my grandson?
Does the babe have a name yet? We haven't spoken.
Joffrey.
Oh.
He'll be called Joffrey.
I do believe he has his father's nose. Don't you?
Is he, in fact, the father?
I do hope the labor was easy.
Wow. Viserys will not die. Has he lost his arm?
Sooner or later, you may get one who looks like you.
Laenor is not the father.
You don't think to consult me before you name my child.
He's our child, is he not?
Well,
Only one of us is bleeding. No one seems so interested in our affairs of late.
oh, they're not quite the team when it comes to that stuff. Oh, and look at her leaving a trail of blood. Literally leaving a trail of blood. Oh, here's Aegon. No, not him, but I heard a kid. Yeah.
Mother,
Oh.
we chose an egg for the baby.
Lena and I thank you, Commander.
Another boy, I heard.
Is he her lover? The son of the hand. So they've got 3 kids? How much time has passed? Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely the dad. All 3 are probably his. Oh, young dragon. Jace and Luke.
HBO Max to heal Princess Aerys.
The Harrenhal.
This will be his, I guess. Oh. Dinner.
You must hold mastery over your dragon, my
I
young
dar
princess,
la rota got vespers on me.
as Prince Aegon has with Sunfire.
You see,
Oh, is that Aegon? Wow, we've just skipped like 15 years.
Aemon, we have a surprise for you. You're the only one of us without a dragon.
Indeed.
And we felt badly about it. So...
Aegon and
found
Aemond
one for you.
A dragon.
and Luke.
How?
Oh, they're playing a prank.
Behold, the pink dread.
Wow. Wow. I feel like we're starting a new show. We took such a big time jump here. I think we've got new actresses for Alicent and Rhaenyra, am I right? Is this why I was confused to begin with? So the question is Rhaenyra still heir? The king's had 15 years to change his mind. Whoa. What were you thinking, kid? How do you get a dragon assigned to you exactly?
The last ring has no legs at all.
You will have a dragon one day.
You'll have to close an eye.
I know it. They all laughed. It's a wonder to me their eggs ever hatched.
Why is that?
You know why.
I'm afraid I don't.
Don't!
Because they're not pureblood.
To have one child like that is a mistake. To have 3 is an insult. Of course he knows. Or did once, but has convinced himself otherwise. He'll do naught but make excuses for her.
The Princess Rhaenyra is brazen and relentless. Spoiled cunt.
Oops. Step too far. Got Homelander here. What the hell are you up to, Aegon? And who's watching?
As things stand, Rhaenyra will ascend the throne, and
She's
Jacaerys
still heir.
Targaryen will be her heir.
So?
She can move to cut off any challenge to her succession.
Then I want...
You are the challenge! You are the challenge!
He doesn't want it.
Simply by living and breathing!
He couldn't care less.
What everyone in the realm knows, in their blood and in their bones, is that one day you will be our king.
It's interesting because, I mean, she's obviously not Targaryen or Velaryon, but her children are platinum blonde. But then Rhaenyra's kids all lack that. Granted, they're only half. I mean, that's not hidden, but are they a thing now? Look at the size of that. Her dragon's huge. Fire doesn't harm true dragons. All right, they're a thing.
I wish to offer you a permanent residence here in Pentos. This
Oh, that's
mounts
where we
I
are.
gift to you outright.
And what's the catch?
Continue.
My aim is to protect Pentos from the lustful eye of the Triarchy. Aid Pentos in this.
It's a most generous offer. And one we will certainly entertain.
So they're on Essos, just wandering from city to city as they see fit.
We are the blood of old Valyria. We don't belong here.
Valyria is gone. We don't belong anywhere.
I want my daughters to be raised in their homeland with their family.
I have to do better than that.
Seems the younger boys could do better with a bit of your attention, Sir Kristen.
Eldest son against eldest son.
Foul play.
I'll deal with him.
This is good. I like this. I like this a lot.
Stay on the attack. Use your feet.
They're fighting by proxy, basically, the two adults here. Kristen and Lord Strong.
Most men would only have that kind of devotion toward a cousin.
Or a son.
Or a son.
Say it again!
Lord doesn't match.
Shame on the whole of House Strong. Because I laid my hands on that insufferable Cole. The son of a steward. He is a knight of the Kingsguard now. Sailed.
Your intimacy with the Princess Rhaenyra is an offense that would mean exile and death. For you, for her, for the children.
My dear wife. Princess?
Oh. Laenor's new bow.
War is afoot again in the Stepstones, Rhaenyra.
Just what I need.
A little adventure, a good honest battle to enliven my blood again.
Are you mad? You do not desert your post when the storm lashes.
The wise sailor flees the storm as it gathers.
Very well, then I command you to remain in King's Landing and at my side.
Yeah, she wears the pants in that relationship.
Half of them never do, you know.
Half the eggs never hatch.
There is more than one way to bind yourself to a dragon. I was without one until I was 15 years old. And now I ride a Vhagar, the largest in the world. Do you never long for home?
No.
The man I married was more than this.
I wish to speak.
Well, Alicent's not sitting.
We are one house. Long before that, we were friends. My son, Jacaerys, will inherit the Iron Throne after me. I propose we betroth him to your daughter, Helena. Let them rule together.
A most judicious proposition.
It's nephew and aunt, isn't it?
Rhaenyra.
Oh, seven hells.
My dear.
She's a new mother. It's okay.
Dragon's egg is a handsome gift.
How sweetly the fox speaks when it's being cornered by the hound.
She is sincere.
She is desperate.
We're a family.
Let us put aside these childish quarrels.
You may do as you wish, husband. When I am cold in my grave.
Alice.
Yeah, she's wearing the pants in that relationship now.
I have come to resign my position as Hand of the King.
Oh.
Young Harwin's outburst was unfortunate, it's true. But he's been expelled from the City Watch. That seems punishment enough.
Forgive me, Your Grace, it is not.
Oh, so he's no longer commander. Just like that, okay.
Your advice has been sage, unmarked by self-interest, which stands in contrast to all others.
Well,
I can no longer serve you with integrity.
Name it if it casts such a gloom.
Viserys refuses to see it.
You must have your reasoning in plain language.
I cannot.
Then I cannot accept this.
I would then ask leave to take my son from court and escort him back to the family seat at Harrenhal.
Are we going to see the destruction of Harrenhal? Because we only see it as a burned out, massive husk 100 years from now.
Then he fell short of confessing my brother's transgressions. It's a willful blindness. The king, you'd surely suffer the same affliction if it came to
I
it.
would not.
My father cannot give unbiased counsel to the king.
It is now that I most rue the absence of my own father. He wouldn't hesitate to speak the truth to the king.
You cannot say, my queen, that your father would be impartial in this matter.
No, but he would be partial to me.
Yeah. I didn't realize the Strongs were going to become such an important part of this story, but I like that they have become so.
What a collection of heroes I have before me. I am prepared to offer you mercy, if you're prepared to pay a little price.
What are we doing here? We're cutting off a tongue. Holy crap. So much childbirth in this show. That doesn't look optimistic. What happened?
I've reached the limit of my art.
Oh.
But I cannot say for a surety whether it lives.
Would the mother survive it?
Nope. It's like episode 1 all over again. What's Daemon gonna do? He must see the parallel with his brother. Oh, we're going for a dragon ride.
Dracarys!
Oh, what? Suicide by dragon? Would a dragon ever do that to its rider?
Lena!
Oh, here it comes. Wow. Well, now the daughter who doesn't have a dragon, does she inherit her mother's? How does that work?
Be good to you. I'll visit when I can. But that may be some time.
I think the boys know too. Or at least Jace does. He's old enough to understand.
Is Harwin Strong my father? Am I a bastard?
Whoa.
You are a Targaryen. That's all that matters.
She didn't say no. Just preserving the lie.
I take it he's gone.
We're finished here. We're leaving.
So she's gonna go to Dragonstone?
To Dragonstone, then?
I should have left years ago.
You always said if you were absent from court, she would pour her honey in your father's ear.
The wise sailor flees the storms it gathers.
Yeah.
Laenor, bring him.
Oh, look at that.
We'll need every sword we can muster.
All right, they still have their understanding. Harrenhal. It's not a pretty castle, it's just a massive castle, isn't it? Who are they? Oh. They've got the same scarab that Loras has on his cane. I'm not sure if it's a scarab, but it's the same symbol for sure. It's like a beetle or something. Oh. Are they... Is this the destruction of Harrenhal right now? Sorry, Laris, not Loris. All the L names in this show, I swear. Lionel, Laenor, Lena, Laris. Oh, we're back to the rats.
But for them,
so,
you surrender
I guess
what you should not.
Is this the destruction of Harrenhal right here? I thought it was Dragonfire that did it in, but maybe it was just plain old arson.
Love is a downfall. Best to make your way through life unencumbered. If you ask me.
They're dead.
It is said to be a cursed place. That it passes judgment on all who pass beneath its gates.
Yeah. Littlefinger didn't last long once he inherited it.
The Queen makes a wish. What servant of the realm would not strive to fulfill it?
I did not wish for this.
You will reward me when the time is right.
You've made a deal with the demon, the devil, Alaris. All right. Well, this episode was certainly not what I predicted or hoped for. And after some early confusion, because we took a 10-year time jump, it's our biggest time jump yet, from where we started this show to where we are now must be close on 20 years now. It's at least a solid 15 anyway. Viserys is still alive. It looks like he's lost his arm, and he's certainly much worse for wear, but he's still alive. He's hanging on. And Alicent is kind of driving the bus. She's driving the throne, and yet Rhaenyra is still heir. Rhaenyra is still heir. Aegon seems to have zero interest in inheriting the crown, even though his mother wants it for him. He's just a spoiled prince. Rhaenyra has 3 children, ostensibly with Laenor, but actually with the captain of the Kingsguard, Harwin Strong, who's now dead along with his father because of his brother Larys, who just torched Harrenhal. Daemon and Lady Lena got married. They have daughters. Lady Lena dies in childbirth. So they're a father and 2 daughters with 3 dragons. Pentos wants their help to fight against the Triarchy. Daemon, now that Lena's dead, may take them up on that offer. The story's just going in, because of the time jumps, the story's just going in directions you don't anticipate. When is this war going to happen? You know, like Alicent's looking for allies, and she had Sir Criston's on her side now. He's completely given up on Rhaenyra. But who else does she have on her side exactly? Other than the fact that when Viserys dies, probably a lot of people will go, Aegon's the rightful heir. But Rhaenyra's first move, the most prudent move, would be to kill Aegon as soon as she takes the throne. But she offers up instead the idea of marrying her eldest, Jace, to Alicent's daughter. That's an aunt-nephew relationship, just like Daenerys and Jon Snow, isn't it? But it would unite the families, the Targaryens, all together, except Alicent, and it seems most people know that Rhaenyra's children are not Laenor's, that they're bastards, and yet the king doesn't acknowledge it. The king is blind to it, and if the king is blind to it, then it's not true. No one can persuade him otherwise. Lord Strong, the Hand, wasn't willing to name that transgression. So now I'm most fascinated by Larys. You know, he's been a curiosity since the beginning, but now he's taken a much more sinister overtone. You know, he has no problem killing his father and his brother in service of the Queen, and ultimately in service of himself. But what is his end game? What does he want? Does he just want power? Does he want to be the Hand? What does he want? What's his goal? I mean, he's the second son of a major house. I guess he's just inherited Harrenhal and its lands, except it's a cursed place in his mind. So he inherits the title, but what else? What else? I don't know. And Rhaenyra, because of all these swirling rumors, has decided to leave King's Landing in favor of, I was about to say Dragon's Den, but that's not it. It's Dragon's Reach, right? And she and Laenor still have this understanding, you know, but it's caused them nothing but problems. But on the flip side, they were pledged to each other. The parents weren't willing to acknowledge that, you know, Laenor's gay, and that may be problematic in bringing about an heir. So instead, Rhaenyra and Laenor came to this agreement, and it's like, you sleep with who you want, I'll sleep with who I want, and otherwise we're a partnership. We're in this together, and it's worked. They may not be thrilled, but it's working. They have, like I said, they have an understanding. But the number two in the line of ascension, Rhaenyra's eldest, is a bastard. So yeah, you know, she was painted into a corner as soon as that marriage was proposed. I don't know what her other options would have been at the time, but you know, ironically, all of these problems arise from Viserys himself, and it's because Varys he's more concerned about loving his family than being king. And he's not a terrible king, but when he makes these important choices, it's more about familial love than what would be prudent for the throne and for the continuation of the family name and of the kingdom and all the rest of it. If he had made different decisions in these early episodes, if he hadn't named Rhaenyra heir, he would have been free to name Aegon heir when he remarried and had a son. If he had married Lady Laena instead of Alicent, then we would have united the houses earlier and not needed to bind Rhaenyra and Laenor. Even now, his refusal to acknowledge that his daughter has illegitimate children is weakening his position, weakening her position, causing the potential for someone else to step in. It's forcing Alicent to coordinate her own efforts to try and get Aegon onto the throne. And inevitably it's going to head to civil war, but the longer this goes on, the more I think we're not going to have Viserys die until the last episode of the season. Or maybe the penultimate episode, because it seems like Game of Thrones always dropped the big stuff in the second to last episode of the season. The massive battles, the surprising deaths, that sort of thing. So yeah, maybe we have to wait to episode 9 for Viserys to die. Except it wouldn't be a surprising death. It's been a death we've literally been anticipating since we met him. He's been ill. So, and since we've been talking about the succession from day one, like all we're thinking about, all everyone in the kingdom is thinking about, is when is Viserys going to die and what's going to happen when it happens. Who's going to argue Rhaenyra's right to the throne. But yeah, it feels like no one wants to be around King's Landing now. Daemon's happier across the Narrow Sea in Pentos. Rhaenyra is saying, you know what, we're better off in Dragonstone. Did I call it Dragon's Reach earlier? Anyway, the Strongs were retreating to Harrenhal before being torched. So yeah, things are beginning to spread out. And to top it all off, the Triarchy are pushing back into the Stepstones. They've formed an alliance with Dorne, which is the southernmost province of Westeros. And I believe it's the southernmost. It's in the south, anyway. And yeah, so it's not a united Empire of the Seven Kingdoms anymore. Nevertheless, don't get me wrong, I love the palace intrigue. I love the politics of it all. It's like watching the longest fuse in the world burn. It's like, when is this going to reach the powder keg and explode? Because the tension's just being ramped up, and if the danger is, if you keep the tension for too long, it loses its power. There's a skill in knowing how long you can massage the tension and ramp it up and get closer and get to a head and then release it. But if you don't reward all that tension with the anticipated result, i.e. the death of Viserys, you may risk losing the crowd, and I worry that might be happening with the show. I'm willing to give it another I'm willing to go to episode 9. I'm in this show for the season. I've made that commitment, but I feel like we need to get things going and get them going soon. We have new cast. We've recast Rhaenyra and Alicent and Laenor. We had a new actress for this episode playing Lady Laena. Obviously, we've got all these young kid actors. It was confusing. Just calling her princess, like a Targaryen princess, yeah, your first thought is, okay, Rhaenyra, but this doesn't look like Rhaenyra, so we must be in a different place. We must be in a different time. This must be something else. And then you realize ultimately it is Rhaenyra, and I have face blindness, guys. You've seen my challenges with this on the channel before. So I'm like, is that her? And they've just like let down her hair and like done her makeup differently. I was so freaking confused. But the actress who played Rhaenyra for the first 5 episodes had such a striking face that I was like, I'm pretty sure I would remember if this was her. And yet it wasn't. And it's 10 years later. And that's why. So, yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, I have nothing against the new cast. They're doing a fine job. You have to make that mental adjustment, like, oh, this is now Alicent, this is now Rhaenyra, this is now Laenor. And it explains a curiosity that I had noticed in the credits earlier. I never really talked about it, but in the opening credits, the show only stars 3 names. And it didn't make sense to me why it wasn't starring any of the female actors. And now it makes sense to me. None of them are on for the entire season. They're being the same characters are being played by multiple actresses because this show is taking place over such a long time period. Yeah, I'm a little underwhelmed with the developments of this episode because as much as stuff has happened, it's not the stuff that I need to happen. I need Viserys to die. I need to see that death trigger everything else. Right now, we've just got a whole lot of potential energy in this show. It's still moving chess pieces and everything else. It's alliances and maneuvering and all of that. But people are people in the show are quitting the game as well. Daemon, who was so eager to inherit his brother's throne, has basically said, "Screw it. I'm not interested. I don't want to go back to Westeros. I'm out." He's waved the white flag. He did it to the crab feeder, and now he's doing it symbolically. He's just bowed out of the game. Now, maybe the death of Lady Laena will change that. Maybe, who knows? This is a tough show to anticipate because we take these massive time jumps. It makes it hard to stay invested in the story because we're just getting these snapshots over years and years and years. And what happened in the intervening 10 years? You can make a lot of assumptions. You can you see the results of long-term affairs. You see all these new children. You see Alicent now in charge. All of these new developments, but but it would have been interesting to see some of that. But I get the challenge, because my understanding of the book is it takes place over something like 30 years, which means we still have another 15 years or more of story to tell. Now, where does Viserys die in that, and how much takes place beyond that? I don't know. Does he live another 10, and then the bulk of the story takes place in those last 5 years, and that's the Dance of the Dragons, the civil war amongst the Targaryens, or what? I don't know. But I really want to know. This is when I wish this was in a Netflix format and I could just binge the whole darn thing, because I could knock off 2 or 3 more episodes tonight and get to Viserys' death, because that's the thing I'm waiting for. But now I don't anticipate it next episode. I don't know what to anticipate next episode. I now feel like he's not going to die until episode 9. I feel like if there were betting odds, I would say it's episode 9 he's going to die. That's going to be the precipitating event, and that's a weird way to tell a story. Usually you put your precipitating event at the end of Act 1, not in the middle of episode 9. Anyway, the writers have a plan, and I am interested. I love the world. I'm really interested by the palace intrigue and everything. It's just I want things to accelerate. Everything right now is just preparation. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. I'm actually really interested in reading your comments and reactions to this episode and the series so far. Has it lost you? Are you still fully on board? When do you think Viserys is going to die? Because I'm less and less sure about where this story's going. Is Viserys ever going to die? Is he somehow made a deal with a demon that will make him immortal? Who knows? But I'd love to hear your thoughts. So please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.